The right question. I didn't expect one careless question to reroute my whole life. It was a lazy Saturday afternoon in a quiet corner outside Nashville, Tennessee, the kind of light that makes everything look a little golden a little easier than it is. I was next door, helping my neighbor put together a wooden garden bench, when I teased her, half joking, about why she was still single. I meant nothing by it, but her answer stuck with me long after the sawdust settled. Before we go further, if stories about kindness, patience, and second chances mean something to you, drop a like, leave a comment, share this with someone who could use a little hope today, and subscribe for more. Her name was Rachel Harper. 35, sharp, tireless, and the kind of person the whole street quietly relied on. Groceries for an elderly neighbor, a search party for a runaway dog, a food basket left on a struggling family's porch with no name attached. Rachel was usually behind it. Everyone admired her. And yet, somehow, she was always the one standing a little apart at gatherings. That afternoon, wrench in hand, I laughed and asked, "Still no husband?" She just smiled, but it wasn't a simple smile. She looked past the yard toward the hills and said she wasn't waiting on the right man. She was waiting on the right question. Then she went back to tightening bolts like she hadn't just rearranged something in my head. My name's Caleb Foster, and for weeks I couldn't shake those words. Waiting for the right question. I figured she was just being cryptic, the way people sometimes are. But Rachel wasn't like that. There was weight behind what she'd said, and I started paying closer attention. I noticed her Tuesday evenings at the community center, her Friday visits to the nursing home, her Saturday mornings delivering meals to families going through hard times. One rainy day, I tagged along to help carry supplies inside, and that's when I found out she'd quietly built a mentorship program for kids whose parents worked multiple jobs just to keep the lights on. She helped with homework, taught them things school didn't, and mostly just listened. The kids lit up around her. Parents trusted her without question. But almost nobody knew her own story. It came out slowly, over months. Years before, Rachel had been engaged, until her fiancé broke it off just months before the wedding to take a job across the country. It gutted her. And in the aftermath, everyone wanted her to move on fast. Every holiday brought the same questions about dating, about marriage, about when she'd find someone. What almost nobody asked was how she was actually doing,
what she dreamed about now,
what actually mattered to her anymore. One night at a charity event, I watched her sit with a widow who'd just lost her husband, giving her a full hour with no rush in her voice, no urge to fix anything, just presence. Driving home, I replayed every conversation I'd ever had with her. I'd asked about relationships. Others had asked about marriage, about her age, about why she was alone. Almost no one had asked about her heart. Weeks later, at the neighborhood summer picnic, with the sky turning orange over the lake, I found her sitting by herself watching the kids play. I sat down next to her. We didn't say anything for a while. Then I finally asked something different, not about dating, not about marriage, not why she was still single. I asked what she wanted her life to mean, looking back on it someday. She went quiet. Her eyes filled up. She told me no one had ever asked her that. She talked about wanting to leave people better than she found them, about building hope out of hard places, about a life measured in purpose instead of status. And then she smiled, really smiled. That's when it clicked for me. She hadn't been waiting for a man. She'd been waiting for someone who wanted to know who she actually was. The right question was never about marriage. It was about meaning. That conversation changed the shape of our friendship. Over the next year, we worked side by side on community projects, celebrated wins together, leaned on each other through the hard stretches. Nothing dramatic, just trust, built slowly, one ordinary day at a time. If any part of this is landing for you, tell me in the comments where you're watching from, and share the most meaningful question anyone's ever asked you. Somebody reading this might need to hear it. Almost 2 years after that evening by the lake, I found myself standing on that same shoreline with Rachel, string lights from the fall festival glowing behind us. I looked at the woman who'd taught me to actually see people, and I asked her another question, not because it was expected, not because time was running out, but because I already knew the answer in my chest. She laughed through tears and said yes. That garden bench still sits in our backyard. Neighbors compliment it sometimes, seeing nothing but wood and screws. But I remember the afternoon it started. One careless joke, one unexpected answer, and the lesson that the relationships that matter most begin when we stop asking people what they're missing and start asking who they really are. If this one found you at the right moment, like it, subscribe, pass it along to someone who needs it. Sometimes a single honest question opens a door that years of small talk never could. And maybe, somewhere out there, someone isn't waiting for the right person, just the right question.